Hello there, Qckslvrslash, and today I have a video courtesy of Aethertech in the Tier 10 German cruiser, the Hindenburg. And it's been over a year since I featured this. January 17th of last year was the last time I had a video of this ship up. And a lot has, in a way, changed for her. She's gone from kind of obscurity to one of the more played ships, and definitely in clan battles, and just team battles. It used to be a ship that was often frowned upon and thought of not effective, but they made some changes to her ammunition, rate of fire, stuff like that, really helped her out and have turned this thing into just a DPM beast. You can sit out at the flank, keep your ship moving, rudder shifting, and just use all 12 of these barrels to just rain havoc down on the enemy fleet. Now, Aether has a couple buddies along him, Just Give Me Something and DG Pitbull, and that always helps. And you'll notice they've got 2 cruisers and a battleship. And one of the things I keep meaning to talk about a little bit more is division composition, because more and more I am seeing divs come in that are triple battleship or triple DD, and really the only division, in my opinion, that you can get away with having 3 of the same class is cruisers, because cruisers are kind of an in-between. If you're 3 destroyers, sure, you can wolf pack like you wouldn't believe. If you find one of those enemy destroyers, the 3 of you can jump on them, take them out. But you're really missing out on some of that ability to synergize with some other ships. Having a destroyer teamed up with a radar cruiser works amazingly, because when you get that other destroyer pinned down, you make him smoke, your buddy with the radar goes, okay, here it comes, and you just lay into that DD. This division will work really well together. You've got a battleship to lay some of the heavier hits down, but also just force enemy cruisers to keep honest. They're not going to be able to show their broadside, or they're going to eat really big damage. And then a Henry, well, it's a great flanking ship. It's speed, it's got good HE, and it's just really effective. And that speed, with that speed boost, it can be a hard ship to hit. And anyone who's had to try to fight against a Henry that knows what they're doing and knows how to keep their distance knows how frustrating they can be. But like I said, Henry uses a lot of HE, because at the ranges, ship's angled to, you're not getting a ton of good Citadel shots. Well, the Hindenburg is just as good at lighting fires with 12 shells, loaded of HE. This thing can burn with the best of them. And so 2 cruisers in that setup, if you're actively communicating about who's used their damage control and then just focus them down, get 3 or 4 fires going, ships are going to melt. And you can see that's pretty much what they're setting up to do. Unfortunately, one of the friendly destroyers is AFK right now, so they don't have a destroyer over here. So keeping some of the range is going to be important. So the Henry with his speed, he's gotten way out to the flank. Aether here, well, a little closer in, but still moving out to the side, and really trying to get into a position, in my opinion, to get shots across at where that Balti and Augie were. You know, make sure that things can't sit behind these islands and hide from their buddy in the battleship. And just firing a lot of HE at a cruiser hiding behind an island will get him moving, possibly sail out, and show that broadside and just eat the big hit. And that's one of those things that gives you power in a division. It's why pretty much anyone, if you go look at your win rates on any of the stat sites, look at them solo versus in a division, your division win rates are probably higher. And it's simply that coordinated attack goes a long way in just getting rid of the enemy team. This is a perfect example. This is really a situation where, you know, the enemies have the numbers to push in here. They have the numbers to take it over, especially with that Ognavoy. Get a smoke down, you know, conceal positions, get into the good one, and take advantage of it. Now on the opposite side, the enemy fleet definitely has a numbers advantage. They're doing that. But over here, this enemy team, they've kind of just they've frozen up. You know, some of them have turned out, some are turned in. The Baltimore is backing up and sailing away. And their guns are everywhere. You'll notice Aether's showing a lot of ship. Whoa, just give me something, just got hit hard. But as I was saying, Aether's showing a lot of ship, but only one enemy was targeting him. And when you manage to get, you know, ships in a couple different positions, you draw that fire apart, it can really help your team out and just keep your ships from getting focused down. And it works even better than when you get every single person on your team working at one target. And well, 64 shells in, Aether just got his first fire. Sadly, just give me something, just got sunk. The enemy GK doing his job, taking out what would otherwise just be a very pesky ship. Now, with this pair of Montanas getting out onto the flank, I think it's a decent idea that, you know, Aether starts looping back. Somewhere there's going to be an Ognivoy. The Fletcher's awake in the cap, contesting it, and putting yourself in a position to try to help that friendly DD is going to go a long way. Now, as far as focus fire, you can see it happening to this Yami. It's sailing into the cap. It's the nearest thing to Tekken. It's really the only thing we're shooting at right now. And it went from pretty much full health to dead in a matter of seconds. Aether only got a couple volleys off there. And it can be annoying, but that is what you need to do as a team. You have to pick a target and just shoot it. And when you're the one target on that on a team, and it's like, why is the entire enemy team looking at me? You know, I'm not the closest thing, yet they're all doing it. They're just spontaneously playing well as a team and focusing down a target. Now, someone is going absolutely crazy there with that chat, and I think it might have been DG Pitbull. So perhaps trying to just kind of troll a bit, or maybe just trying to bug someone in the division. But there he is. The Baltimore is spotted, and he's going to be the next ship. You can see multiple ships shooting at him, and you know, Baltimore is a decent ship. It's not going to last long under focused fire. You saw how fast a Yami went, and that's a top tier battleship. You know, tier 9 cruiser, not gonna do so great. And the Baltimore is doing his best. He's getting his hull over. He's trying to get bow in to, you know, this Bismarck and all the ships down here. Sadly, a couple Montanas out on his flank. He takes a big hit, and well, hopefully that ends his game here as this final volley goes out. Aether connects, but no kill yet. And you can just see everyone's still just shooting the general area, because you know from the last spotting that Baltimore is almost dead. Maybe you have a chance at the kill. The Ognivoy, he's still alive. The carrier is moving in to drop on him. So that could be the end there, but unlikely. As well, the Russian cruisers just have this ability, it seems, to dodge carriers, and really a big part of it, I feel, is just that speed. They're so fast it can be hard to drop on them. And case in point, well, the Ognivoy has no problem pretty much surviving that. Now this is a situation where you'd really like the friendly carrier to have kept one of these squadrons over that Ognivoy. Keep them lit. If you are a carrier and you see your teammates shooting at them, just keep that plane there, don't let it come back, and get rid of the threat. The Balti sinks finally, and well, the enemy team, they're starting to push. They've got a 2-kill lead, and they're working on their third cap. And this is a really tricky situation for Aether's team, because just like the enemy team was kind of all turned about over here, well, it's happening to Aether's. You can see some ships facing one way, some going the other. There's no real coordination beyond the fact that most people are shooting at this North Carolina, because once again, enemy battleship way too far forward of his support. You know, his support's another 6 kilometers behind him. The Minotaur is further than that. The North Carolina, well, it hasn't even rounded the corner, so when you're in ships, like, this is a situation where there's going to be people who complain that, oh, you know, nobody helped me there, but got himself into trouble. And, well, this other North Carolina's kind of doing the same. Now, personally, if I'm Aether here, I'm shooting the North Carolina. I'm trying to get a fire. Yes, the Hindi is a dangerous target, but especially now that he's got one fire on that Hindenburg, just try to get a fire started on the North Carolina. Now, I do get what's going on. Tier 10 ship, it's a cruiser. Hindenburgs, well, they don't exactly have the greatest health pool, and they can be melted down pretty quick. Their armor can be surprisingly effective and trolly when you're shooting at them, and just never seem to be able to get shells in, but with a lot of ingoing fire, they can be melted down. And that's kind of what's happening. So I get shooting at the Hindi. I personally probably would have just shot that North Carolina just one time, just to try to get a fire to start ticking down the health a bit. And well, DG Pitbull does a great job there, finishing off one last ship before his game is ended by that Benson. And well, so far this has been a pretty decent game for Aether. It's up to 96,000 damage. That's obviously going up. He hasn't really sacrificed any of his ship at this point. He's kind of just passively stayed in those mid to back lines, just keeping the guns firing. And as a result, still has all those repair parties. And, well, pretty much has a full ship, which is a great thing, especially considering the situation. Now the enemy team, they've got a lead, and their real lead here is in those caps. With 3 of the caps and, you know, over 300 point lead, Aether's team needs to be getting some of these points back, and kills are going to go a long way. This Benson, well, there he goes. Aether picking up his first kill, breaking that 100k mark. And honestly, the next ship to probably go is either going to be this North Carolina or this Minotaur, if he decides to stop and show his broadside, because that's what happens to Minotaurs. If you're moving in a Minnow and using your smoke effectively when you can, it's a great ship. But so often, you catch a Minotaur pretty much doing what this one's doing, just showing way too much of the side of his ship, and you can see Aether sees it. And he's got the AP loading. And honestly, Aether's AP is going to do a lot more to that Minnow than the Minnow's AP just did to him. And well, I guess that's why the Minnow decided to turn side on. Wanted to get some torpedoes in the fire. And, you know, the enemy Minnow's doing a better job. He's keeping the hull, moving back and forth, and in a way forcing bad ammo choice, you know. Pretty much the second Aether had AP loaded, well, no longer a good shot for AP, and that can be frustrating, but this enemy CV, I can guarantee you his team's about to get frustrated at him, because he is way too far forward. I get what he did. His team, they were pushing pretty aggressively around here. He probably felt safe getting into this position, you know, closer to the action. Yeah, it makes him more able to get planes in and get the damage, but it's a mistake I'm seeing CVs make more and more, and I'm not entirely sure why. As Aether picks up the Confederate medal, because, you know, being a couple kilometers closer is not worth risking your entire ship, and the Lexington really found himself in a position where there's nothing he can really do here, as the Bismarck deletes that Minotaur, and that's all it takes. And that's one of the things about a Minnow. If they're concealed or far enough back that you can't hit them, they are the biggest pest in the world with that rate of fire. But they also seem to vanish quicker than most. So at this point, a decision kind of needs to get made. Where do you go? Well, you've got a number of ships pushing forward. They're going to D. that Lexington, it's going to die to them. We've got an Ognivoy trying to take the A-cap. And the friendly CV is over there. So what do? Well, Aether decides, I'm turning around. At this point, getting those enemy caps is absolutely vital. Getting rid of this Ognivoy, protecting this cap is vital, because that enemy team, even if they lose a ship here with 2 caps, 4 minutes left, it's gonna be a hard game to win. Once again, you wish the friendly CV just kept that Augie lit a little bit longer. Thankfully, the Ognivoy decides, no, I need to start shooting this CV. I need to farm damage, and well, the friendly Montana finishes them. 1 more ship gone, and that helps out. That bought them a little more time. That exchange in points, really crucial. And well, they're going to be getting into another cap here. And when they get into D, that'll slow down that point draw just a little more. Unfortunately, this enemy team looks like they've got a plan. They've grouped up. They've decided that Lexington, it's a lost cause. We're not going to go face the enemy head on. We're going to go the other way and just try to draw this game out by cap point. It's a really smart play, and honestly, it should win them the game. You know, they're in A, so they're stopping what is their enemy's cap points. Even if they don't take it, doesn't really matter. Just being in there is enough. And they're grouped up enough that if they run into, you know, a stray ship, a la this Des Moines, they're going to be able to overpower him. And what bad luck there. Aether fires through the gap, the gun's hitting either side. So one thing these American battleships do not do well, really most battleships, is deal with cruisers who have a broadside. This Missouri, he should be getting his bow over. His bow should be pointed halfway between the Des Moines and Aether. Because it's not, he is just eating huge chunks of damage with these AP volleys. And well, the Torps, they're looking pretty good. I think Aether's about to pick up his 2nd kill, and cool guys don't look at explosions. So he looks away, starts trying to deal with this Zao. And unfortunately, I don't think the explosion ever happened. Well, at least not the one we thought. The Torps didn't hit, the Missouri gets finished off, Aether absolutely deletes the Zao. And well, Japanese cruiser, ever since the start of this game, it's been known they've got Torps. Aether eating 1, managing to dodge the rest, which means he's going to be alive a little longer. And I really think he should repair this flood. I don't know why he hasn't. Part of me wonders if he's been hit by a glitch. Nope, he just hadn't hit the button. Because I've seen a couple ships and people complain in chat that they're hitting that damage control button and it's not working. So at this point, just don't show broadside. Extend the game as much as you can. And well, it's a grosser Kurfürst. It's going through your bow. It's one of the fun things about that ship. You get in close, it is just devastating. But he bought time, and that is crucial. Meanwhile, the friendlies, they took out the Essex. They've got D. They're going into C. And the second they get into that C cap, that's when this game really starts to change. Because they're going to be the only team getting points. And with 53 seconds left, it's going to be a nail-biter. This Des Moines, he's doing everything he can, really except using AP. At 10 kilometers, well, less than that, 9 kilometers, this Des Moines, broadside on a Kurfürst, should just be pumping AP into him. He'd be getting several thousand K damage per volley. He's going for a fire, and that's a mistake he's making. But those friendly ships, they're in the cap. So 13-point difference, 15 seconds. This is close. The cap control matters though, and in the end, it's gonna be just enough. One more tick from each of the caps, and they've got it with 2 seconds to spare. Now, Aether did a lot right in this one, and a big part of it was just managing his hit points, not eating that big damage early, kept him around in the game long enough to make a difference, and he did make a difference. A couple of his plays there really mattered and really ended up carrying the game to a win. And choosing to turn around and going back to the cap was the biggest one of those. End of the day, 564,000, 15,500 experience, lots of flags on that one. Confederate, high caliber, just shy of 220,000 damage, those 2 kills, and the win. And I can't imagine getting that much XP. Base XP, 2880, just shy of the 3,000 mark, and interestingly, beats the Des Moines, who shot down 24 planes. And with the value of planes, that really speaks to the work that Aether did using his guns. And looking at the results, there you can see the flags. That's how he got that much XP. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up or subscribing. And as always, I'm Qckslvrslash. I'll have another one for you all later.